I had to take it back, way back in the time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pin Decker of Kung Tech Fu, doing crypto kung fu with you all day long, ladies and gentlemen. We have been here for some time. You are listening to the best channel on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. We have been giving you alpha on this channel for over 15 years, people. So do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Go down and hit that like and subscribe button. Go ahead and kung fu kick that like and subscribe button, or subscribe I should say, because we're going to describe what we're talking about today. We're going to give you the alpha for generational wealth, ladies and gentlemen. You ever talk to somebody and try to tell them about these opportunities, and they talk to you like that they are slaves still on a plantation? Well, I don't know if they gonna let you do that. Man, what are you talking about? You can buy Bitcoin anytime you want to. You talk to somebody else, oh, well, I don't understand it. Yeah, that's why I'm explaining it to you. So if you're here on this channel, you've come to the right spot, ladies and gentlemen, where we give you that constant alpha, and we not only tell you what's going on in the world of crypto, DeFi, and CeFi, bonds, stocks, tokenize this, tokenize that, but we show you how to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So there are no excuses. The only excuse you should have is to find an excuse to win, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go. First up on the scene, as you can see the screen, we've got Eliza OS kicking it. Eliza OS used to formerly be known as AI16Z. And they have migrated. They have updated, ladies and gentlemen. Eliza OS is the AI system that is kicking. We've got another one chilling in the cut. Matter of fact, we've got two chilling in the cut. And we're going to talk about those, but we're not going to talk about them right now. This is just a little warm-up. You see, I was going to do an AI video, but I said, you know what? I don't even think you guys are ready for that one just yet. So let's talk about what's hot on the scene in the here and now, ladies and gentlemen. And what's hot on the scene in the here and now is Zebec Super App has gone live, ladies and gentlemen, just like I told you yesterday when I made the video. All right, it is indeed live today, and we are going to take a look at that. So, first of all, let us take a quick look at this. You're going to need some tools. You're going to need Uphold. You're going to need Kraken. You're going to need MEXC. So the link for the will be down in the description below for you guys to use my referral links. Also, we have Kinesis Money sitting there. Kinesis Money, of course, is for tokenized gold and silver, as well as a very vast crypto platform as well. You can send crypto in, you can swap while you're in there, and they just recently added Solana to the platform. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about Zebec, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go over here and we're going to take a look at a few things over here on the app formerly known as Twitter, X. And I don't know. It just seems like people just can't shake that name Twitter. Because no matter how long it's X, people are still calling it Twitter all over the world. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look at a few things right here. And the first one we're going to take a look at is, you see, because if you're going to be in the crypto, you got to be in the know, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I understand that a lot of you are still selling your time for money. So you don't have as much time as I do to be in the dungeon 24/7, which is why I know the things that I know. Because my concentration and my intention is undivided, because I am retired, because I am tired working for the system. I am tired of selling my time for money. And I have challenged myself to be living proof that you can indeed stop selling your time for money. You can indeed live your life permissionless. You can indeed have the power of choice returned back into your life while still be able to pay your bills and support your family, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. I'll be living proof. So here we go with Aerodrome. Your liquidity on autopilot. So Aerodrome, of course, has outshined its master, because the layer 2 base chain comes from optimism. And optimism is fading into black, and base is basically taking over, and primarily because of Coinbase, which has over 100 million users, ladies and gentlemen. And they have now used Aerodrome. They have made a conscious decision to use Aerodrome as their go-to place for all of the crypto. So when you go to Coinbase and you buy cryptos on Coinbase, what you don't know is under the hood, it's going through Aerodrome, ladies and gentlemen. That liquidity is going through Aerodrome. And it is very important that we talk about that word liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. And if you scroll down, you're just going to see a lot of things that are really interesting, especially concerning the Canton network, because the Canton network is in partnership with Zebec, and this is why we're here to talk about that today. So if we go over here and we go over to DeFiLlama.com, ladies and gentlemen, when you go over here, you're going to see chains, all right? If you go to the menu and you pull up chains, all right? You pull up chains, you pull up yield or whatever. If you go to the top of the screen and you go to this little hamburger menu at the top, you're going to see chains here. You're going to see tools. You're going to see yields. You're going to see stable coins. You're going to see RWA, which is real world assets. But right now, we're going to take a look at chains, ladies and gentlemen. The chains that will actually set you free in this little oxymoron here. But if you want to know where the money is, this is literally showing you where the money is, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you need tools like this. So you can go and you can do your technical analysis or plan your attack on what multiple income streams you are going to set up. Which ones do you like? Which one fits your character as to where you want to place your money? But I'm going to give you a hint, ladies and gentlemen. You want to do something that's sustainable. You want to do something that's long-term. You want to do something that's going to allow you to keep self-custody of your assets. So you don't need to go to an ROI DApp and be like, you know, I was for a while. My first 2 to 3 years in crypto, I was all up in ROI dApps, as I told you guys before. You guys know my story. And ROI dApps have a beginning, a middle, and an end, ladies and gentlemen. But when you're in the global market, there is no end, because you are simply seeking yield to earn yield while you sleep, ladies and gentlemen, and even when you're awake. Because once the power of choice has been returned to your life, no matter where you are earning money. When you're in the mall, you're earning money. When you're in the movies, you're earning money. When you go food shopping, you're earning money. You see what I'm saying? Because you're earning yield nonstop. Now, yield is a word that traders and gamblers don't know, because you see, when you buy low and sell high, that is only has to do with price appreciation. There is no yield in that. You see, this is why traders get wrecked 70% of the time. I'm not saying if you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to get wrecked even more than that. You're going to get wrecked 95% of the time. But even the best get wrecked in that, because it's essentially gambling, and there are strategies and this, that. So if you're going to try and do a little trading when you're just starting out, you might want to try what we call some delta neutral, plays. And that's basically just canceling out the volatility, where you go long and short at the same time, and it cancels out the volatility. So what you miss on the long, you make up on the short. What you miss on the short, you make up on the long. So that's if you want to go into that area. I rarely do that, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm an investor. And as an investor, I seek to earn yield through the principle of compound interest. So if we look at this graph, ladies and gentlemen, we see that Ethereum right here, we click on it, we can see that it has $55 billion in it. And you can go look at the other chains. So this is a good hint of, okay, where is the money? And as you can see, most of the money in DeFi, this is for DeFi, ladies and gentlemen. This is for proof of stake coins, not proof of work coins like Bitcoin. Even though you see Bitcoin over there, that's not actually the native Bitcoin, because native Bitcoin is incapable of doing smart contracts and NFTs. What you see over here concerning Bitcoin, this little 4 billion right there, 4.6 billion, that is wrapped Bitcoin. Okay, or wrapped BTC, I should say. And it's not even BTC, it's a token that is pretty much like a stablecoin. It provides you exposure to the price of Bitcoin, but it's not actually Bitcoin in and of itself. It's a coin that is actually pegged to the price of Bitcoin, but it is not Bitcoin in and of itself. In other words, it is not part of the 21 million. Okay, it is not actual factual Bitcoin. Okay, it just simply allows you exposure to the market of Bitcoin, which is why it's in DeFi, because actual Bitcoin cannot be staked, ladies and gentlemen. At least not at the time of this video. All right, so understand that. And it's understanding little things like this that's going to get you through, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue on. And let's actually get to Zebec, ladies and gentlemen. So if we go here, we're going to click here. And we're going to click on here. Now this is Zebec.io, ladies and gentlemen, where real time meets real world. Now, I just learned something else. Not only have they partnered with Canton Network that just walked in the door with $10 trillion, 6 initially, and they're loading 4 trillion more at the rate of 400 billion per day. These guys are in there with Lattice Finance, but also Chainlink has joined in partnership with Canton Network, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you who don't know, Chainlink is huge in DeFi, and it pretty much connects the blockchains together, because one blockchain doesn't talk to the other blockchain. Polygon doesn't talk to Binance Smart Chain. Binance Smart Chain doesn't talk to Ethereum. Ethereum doesn't, and so on and so forth, you see. But with Chainlink, you can hop tracks as if they were train tracks, like you had a train and you're just simply switching train tracks, because Chainlink gives you the ability to switch tracks, ladies and gentlemen, and to make things what they call interoperable, ladies and gentlemen. So Chainlink is a wonderful investment. It's something you can hold. It's something that you know is going to be here in 2 years. It's something that's going to be here in 5 years. It's something that's going to be here in 10 years, ladies and gentlemen. So you do want to invest, but you want to be very minimalistic, ladies and gentlemen. So if we look here, stable coin payroll and seamless payfi in motion, charging the way, and it's got some annual payroll volume, and it's got some little stuff going on here. They got a Zebec card. They got 50K here users on and off chain. Zebec is helping create a future where money and value move freely in all aspects of the economy, from payroll to investments to everyday expenses. And you can just go in here and you can look at all of this stuff for yourself, but they have some really great stuff going on here. And if we go up to the hamburger menu here, you're going to see the products here. There's the cards, there's the payroll, there's the DPIN, decentralized physical infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen. Then they have the super app here where you can click and you can get early access. And we come back here, we go to the company, about, team, companies, compliance, right? Then you go here to ZBCN, where you can buy Zebec. That's the ticker right there. You can do some staking, you can do the governance, and there's the tokenomics. And then of course, this is for business down here if you happen to own a business, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is indeed KYC, ladies and gentlemen, which means know your customer. So if you want to go down that road, then you can. So you go in here, and once you decide to explore more, well, not explore more, because that just simply takes you down. But if you, I think it was here in products, yep, super app early access. You go here to the super app early access, and it's going to bring you here to the dashboard, and it's going to ask you to connect your wallet, ladies and gentlemen. So you can go here, you can choose Phantom, you can choose whatever it is that you want to do. So if I was to click here, it's going to go and try and search for my Phantom, and it's not detecting it here. So what you probably want to do is you probably want to bring this inside of your Phantom wallet, go to the browser section, and then pull up the URL from there and connect it while you are inside of the app, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not going to connect the wallet right here and now, but because you got a KYC in order to actually use it, And because I have the Ghost Protocol phone, they don't like my phone number, so I'm going to have to get a phone number. But I actually will probably only use this to stake Zebec, So being that I have a lot of different avenues, you can go on Radium, you can go on Meteora, you can go on Camino, you can go on Jupiter, and there's plenty of places where you can single side stake or provide an LP utilizing Zebec. This isn't the only place where you can stake your Zebec, ladies and gentlemen, but it is great to have, ladies and gentlemen, and at some point I will open an account whether I use it or not. I would like to have it sitting there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at some other things, ladies and gentlemen, some things that you should know about. And one of the things that we're going to take a look at is none other than another what do you call it? Artificial intelligence AI agent, ladies and gentlemen. And that, of course, is Tibber, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Tibber is at 18 cents. I got into this at just a little over 16 cents, and it's been going crazy ever since, and it's going to continue to go crazy because this is one of those Operation Hush Hush, ladies and gentlemen. This is something where they've got NDAs and they can't talk about it, and if you get to the CEO and everything, you ask him questions, he'll just start laughing and say, hey, man, you just got to stay tuned, But Tibber is very large. It's on the base chain, ladies and gentlemen, and it's also coming from the virtual.io website. So let's just look a little bit about what it's about. Tibber is a stealth launch cryptocurrency project that aims to enhance efficiency and security within the crypto and artificial intelligence sectors. The project is closely associated with Ribbit Capital, a venture capital firm known for its investment and innovative financial technologies. As a key partner in the agentic finance blockchain, Tibber contributed to the development of new initiatives in the crypto and AI domains. While specific details about Tibber's technology and roadmap remain limited, as I just said, due to its stealth status, the project has generated interest within the crypto community, with discussions focusing on its potential to the shape future of decentralized finance and AI integration. As Tibber progresses, stakeholders and enthusiasts are encouraged to monitor official channels for updates and further information about the project's development and objectives, ladies and gentlemen. So if we go here to Virtuals AI, let me just tell you what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, and let me just remind you that nothing that I say in this video is financial advice, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm simply showing you what I'm doing, and if you feel like it's something that you can use and you want to use me as a template, fine, go right on ahead. But you must be a responsible person and take responsibility for your own actions. Because if you get wrecked, it's nobody's fault but your own. So let's look at Rabita over here, also known as Tibber, ladies and gentlemen. And they showed a chart here and this, that, and there. You can go over to Virtuals and you have a whole slew. That's what Virtuals is all about. You can get the Virtuals token, and there's so much you can do, because it primarily uses the base chain and Solana. It started out using Solana, ladies and gentlemen. But what I am doing is I took some of my Tibber, took a small portion of it. I have some saved that I'm keeping in my wallet. But as I continue to buy Tibber, as I continue to dollar cost average in, you see down here at the bottom where it says Tibber price, and over here you got trade. You can do some trading with it, or you can click down here, earn, ladies and gentlemen. And when you go to earn, you can actually deposit in here, and you've got an APY of 0.11%, ladies and gentlemen. So that beats a blank. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but it's a good place to store your Tibber. And as you accumulate, because what you want to do is you want to accumulate over time. You want to think long term, ladies and gentlemen. You want to think, where will Tibber be in 2 years, ladies and gentlemen? You want to utilize all of that time to stack and stack and stack and stack. And as you stack, you can put most of that here in the earn section, where you're getting a slight increase because, 10% of something is better than 100% of nothing. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm doing. This is one of the strategies that I'm using. And the great thing about crypto is you don't have to do anything. The theme song of crypto is do it any way you want. You know what I'm saying? Do it any way you want to do it. However you can slice it this way, you can slice it that way. There are no real rules to these things, but there are principles, and we live by those principles. And one of those principles, of course, as I've shown you guys in the past, is never invest more than you can afford to lose, ladies and gentlemen. Do not put your budget money into investments, okay? I don't care how much of a sure thing it looks like. When you're investing, there's no such thing as a sure thing, because you never know what could happen. The token could get hacked. Maybe, they didn't get the right audit. Maybe the developer ran off with the money. Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? So never put your budget money in here, okay? Now, after you pay your bills, after you pay for your lifestyle, if you've got some money left over, fine. Throw it into crypto. Buy you some Bitcoin. Buy your XRP. Buy whatever it is you're going to buy and keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. But the thing is, you have to be steady, ladies and gentlemen. And don't try and get into a million platforms. Try and be as minimalistic as you can. I know there's a lot of juicy platforms out there, and there's a lot of really nice APRs out there, but you have to be disciplined. And remember, the higher the APR, the higher the risk. You see what I'm saying? So you have to temper things with, okay, why are they giving me such a high APY? Where's, why is this so risky? So these are the type of things that I'm showing you. How to look for the TVL, which is the total value locked. When you're doing lending and borrowing, always make sure that the borrow rate is lower than the supply rate, okay, or the lending rate. So if you're lending and you're getting 7%, then that means your borrow rate should be under 7. You see what I'm saying? 4, 5, 6. As long as it's under the lending rate, ladies and gentlemen, you never want to. Well, I'm not going to say never, because depending on your situation, who knows? But principally speaking, in the form of principle, you don't want to go into a lending and borrowing thing, because especially if you're going to utilize what we call a looping strategy. And if you're doing a looping strategy, then your borrow rate has to be lower than your lending rate. And you'll understand why once you start to do looping strategies. And I'll actually show you some that I'm doing right now. But right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to end this video, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to remind you that if you're going to be doing the Canton network, and I believe you should, because I am all in. Canton Network has taken the #1 spot in my portfolio, ladies and gentlemen. And I am getting as much as possible. And I am also utilizing the Braun wallet, ladies and gentlemen. So if we look here, we will find the Braun wallet. And I talked about this yesterday, because this is institutional grade security. Most people that are millionaires and billionaires, they're not walking around with 12 or 24 word C phrases that somebody could find and just clean them out, ladies and gentlemen. They're not walking around with ledgers and treasures that could break, you know what I'm saying? Because people that are about their money need to have access to their money at all times. You see what I'm saying? So this is like a multi-signature type wallet where, and I have a Keystone Pro 3. I started out with your 100% air gap hard wallets, and that's okay, but it's even better when you have something like this, which is multi-sig, meaning you can get any device and you can import this, and you can use your Guardians, deliver the shards, and import your wallet anywhere in the world. So nobody, absolutely nobody, can get a hold of your keys. So as we say in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. Well, guess what? Nobody can get these keys, because you don't have your keys external in the form of 12 or 24 words for somebody to find. Or if somebody's casing, rob your house and, find your seed phrase and they import your wallet and clean you out, No. So this is Braun Wallet. It's crypto without fear, ladies and gentlemen. Peace of mind, non-custodial wallet supporting, seedless recovery, recover access securely if your device or credentials are lost, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, there was one guy I just saw where he got paid in Bitcoin and he didn't even think anything of it until Bitcoin took off, and his net worth was $200 million, and he forgot his keys, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing he was in, there's only 10 tries for him to open that wallet, and he already used 8 tries. He's scared to try the other 2, you know what I'm saying? So, and after those 10 tries, that's it for him. He's literally, does not have access to the $200 million of his own wallet. So you see what I'm saying? So here you have seedless recovery. You will never have to go through that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So especially once you make a few million, or if you already have a few million, you will never have the fear of, what if I lose my seed phrase? What if somebody finds my seed phrase? So this is seedless recovery, ladies and gentlemen. Seamless swaps, hidden vaults. You can stake. You can do staking. You got advanced features. Saying policy engines and user account controls of teams. Security and usability. That's the cold storage level protection that I just talked about. So utilize a Braun wallet, ladies and gentlemen. Get in here and try it out. And go ahead and do your thing, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, this is the Pen Decker of Kung Tech Fu, giving you crypto kung fu techniques from the 36 chambers of finance all day long, ladies and gentlemen. So we have done what we've come to do, and we will continue to get this crypto.